All right, you guys, welcome to today's The Iconic Life podcast, where we gather around these virtual tables for real, soulful conversations about what it means to live a life of calling, of wealth, of joy, and purpose. I'm your host, Hannah Elsey. I'm the founder of Agora Wellness. I'm the creator of the Iconicity movement. I call myself a transformation midwife, an overflow activator, and a movement builder of a community of visionary women and men who are choosing to lead and live lives they are wildly in love with. Here, we don't do that surface level chatter. We go deep. We talk about truth and the kind of stories that remind us that we are limitless when we walk in our divine purpose and identity. When I say living iconically, what I mean by that is it's the remembering of who you were created to be and choosing to live from that place fully and unapologetically. It's saying yes to your divine calling, even when it's messy, when it's chaotic, but building wealth, legacy, and joy from a place of overflow. It's leading movements, it's raising families, it's co-creating a life that feels like art. Because living iconically means you don't chase a dream, you are the dream. And today
Yes.
we get to dive into that with my guest. Sietske, welcome. It's going to be a beautiful, juicy conversation. I'm so excited to have you here. Yay. Thanks for coming
Yes.
on. All right, love. So I don't have like a formal introduction for you because again, we're chatting around our little table. I've got my electrolytes and my water, whatnot. You've got your cola, and we are here just to have a beautiful chat about life and about what it means to create an iconic life for you. So I'm
Yes.
going to give you the stage for a moment, and I want you to tell us a little bit more about who you are, where you are in the world, and what you're doing.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Hannah. I'm so excited to be here. And your introduction was like, yo, we are the same kind of people, man. I get you. This is it, right?
Mm,
Artistry. Being the dream, not chasing the dream, but being the dream,
yes.
understanding that you are the dream, and remembering constantly, because sometimes you forget, right? Sometimes you're in the trenches, like we talked about
The waves.
before, and sometimes you're on top of the world, and you're like, yeah, oh, I'm living the dream.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my name is Sietske De Waard, and my business is the Tantric Business Academy. And especially in this season, I'm so high on artistry.
Mm,
I'm helping women to scale to six-figure companies, six, seven, I would say, and in sales. And I am doing that through the art of the dynamics of the feminine and the masculine energies. And that is the core of that is life force energy, and let that be the creative force of everything inside of your life, and that makes you both wildly expressive in life force and feeling alive inside of your, well, life, inside of yourself. And because you're so open to the creative life force, you have an ability to scale quite rapidly,
mm.
and
Wow.
that is fucking cool with your artistry. And that mixes like everything together, what you said in the introduction.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I want you to take us back because we all have to make a choice to live or to create an iconic life, right? Because a lot of times I think we get stuck in the kind of autopilot of doing the things or what society tells us is normal or how to do it. So
Mm.
take me back to that moment if you can pinpoint a time when maybe you first realized that you weren't going to live like that, that you were going to choose yourself, choose your calling, remember your identity. What was going on in your life at that time? What shifted inside of you that made you say, this is the path I'm going to walk?
Yeah, like I had a disturbing working life, I would say. If you know me, you are like, what the fuck did you do that? Yeah, so yeah, like I remember as a child, the core that I felt, the lust for life is one of the ultimate core energies that I feel is um, identifying if I'm living my life or not, I would say. And so the longer I went into my life, the more it kind of went away. I was like, where the hell are
Mhm.
you? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, Regina Thomas, she shares something about the goddess, right? And I don't know if you all read the book Pussy, a Reclamation. It's I would highly recommend it. But she talks about in her life, she recognizes that at some point she had the goddess in her bedroom, and then at some point she was looking for the goddess everywhere and she couldn't find it. And that was my situation as well. But basically, a lot had to do with a working life. No, well, it was also in general in my life, but I was really living the life of somebody else.
Hmm.
I was working in the archives, sitting behind my computer and processing data. That was basically my life. I am highly creative. I'm like pouring my art into my stuff at the moment, photography and all this shit, like fashion, design, all the things I love to do. And I was like, oh my God, like I don't know how to create a life worth living. I don't
Hmm.
know how to do that. And at some God-given moment, God said, you know what, this project is ending. And I was like, yes, 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 yes,
Celebrate.
yes. Yeah. And I had these moments multiple times. I had I would say alpha work experience kind of because it was so out of alignment with who I am inside.
Hmm.
But yeah, at that moment I determined to do something good for the planet. When I was into um, repurposing and stuff to make the planet more sustainable, I would say, and
Hmm.
creativity. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to subscribe myself as an entrepreneur in the Chamber of Commerce. And I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but that I know for sure. That will be my profession.
So you sound like you kind of took a leap of faith because you said you described yourself as an entrepreneur, but not really knowing what those next steps were. So
Mhm.
how did that feel to you to make that?
Exciting.
Okay, I love that. So it was a leap of
No, it
faith,
was the
but
only
it was
thing that I knew was
mm,
true. That was the only thing that I knew was true for me. Out
wow.
of everything that I could choose, and I had a long period of really being so sad because I just couldn't find my way. And I
Yeah.
was like, but that is true. That is true. That at least
Wow.
is true. And the rest we'll see.
Right. You knew that. And then that was the step for you to take because then the next step would come. But like you knew that, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's so it's a powerful thing because I feel like that is kind of the experience of so many people I've had the pleasure of talking to and for myself as well, right? I don't generally have the long drawn out plan, but I do know this next step, whatever it is, right? And it can sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't even make sense, but like I know that this is
Yeah.
what I need to do, right?
Yeah, and there's something beautiful in knowing because that feels super secure. So even if it looks like a big leap, the no because you know it's true, it's super secure.
Yeah. It gives you that like foundation of peace because you know
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing to be there. Okay, so speaking of the unknowing and all the things, like we know that that road to creating an iconic life is not always smooth, right? Like, yeah, we know we take a step, but then, right, obstacles or opportunities could arise, challenges can come up. What are maybe some big challenges that came up for you, or opportunities that came up for you as you made this shift? And how did you decide to move through those instead of letting it bring you back to autopilot or define you or, like that kind of thing? Or, and also like, what were some of the strengths that you developed or lessons that you learned from moving through some of those obstacles?
Yeah, good one. Like, I think I've had so many lessons, so I'm just seeing to pick one of them. I think especially in the beginning, it was kind of hard. I think like it was challenging that the mo like Yeah, there are multiple things coming up, but I think it was challenging that at some point I was having my first kind of success and I wanted to go bigger. And then my ex-partner broke up with me at that point, and I was so, I think, in a way, codependent
Mm.
to his love. I completely broke down.
Yeah.
Completely broke down. Like I lost my house. And like this was really the thing because I decided to go bigger. And the moment I decided to go bigger, like 2 months, everything that I built up from that moment was kind of like pop, gone. Like almost everything, like my house, the city that I lived in, my partner,
Wow.
the business, because I could not sustain the business because it was so hard on my system, and I worked
Mm.
very with my life force, and well, that was only crying.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I was living with my mother, and I was like, because I could not take care of myself. It was really hard.
Hmm.
And I was like, I had to go through the grief of losing my partner that I really loved still deeply. Yeah, even though in hindsight you can see that maybe the match is not 100%, but at that time I could not see that, and we were, in my experience, already talking about kids and building a family, and so I had to go through so many griefs, like the partnership that lost, the house, the animals that I couldn't see for a longer time. We had a pet, so yeah,
Yeah.
two cats and a dog, and the wish for a child,
Yeah.
the dying of my business. So it was like super super like hard.
Yeah. You
It
have to,
was like the hardest period of my life, I would say.
yeah.
Yeah, one of them.
What were some of the lessons that you learned from that, or the strengths that maybe you developed going through those things? What have you, looking back, what can you see arose from those spaces for you?
Yeah, I think a big one is truly, 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 and that is also the scope of my work a lot, like creating a such a strong foundation of
Hmm.
safety within yourself so that no matter what happens, you can choose to move from trust and overflow and from God, basically, because I feel like God is the leader of this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like if you still are hooked into safety outside of yourself from the love of a partner or the financial stuff that gives you security in a way,
Mm.
even that though that was not the main, I always felt like that was not for me, not the, you know for me, I was just really yeah, doesn't matter,
Was more
like.
passionate as a more of a vision or passion as opposed to like just the about the money, right? But
Yeah, for me, I was really, yeah, deeply connected to him with love.
yes,
And
yes.
so to me, that really broke me down. But still, like having a sense of. So this kind of, can I go a little bit on a sidetrack? Because the reason
Yeah.
why I was so hooked into his love was because before I always had really toxic relationships. So that was the first time I found love in a relationship. And I was like, wow, you must be the one.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a really, I had to really re, rewire my toxic behaviors with previous partners. And I remember, yeah, like one moment I decided I want love or nothing. And then he came into the picture. So I was like, it's
You must
you.
be the answer. Yeah.
You are the answer. And like that is so
Ah,
ridiculous because like every time you come back to the truth of it's not outside of you, it's not.
yeah.
You decided that you are worthy of love, and so that is the reflection that you get back. And but I had to learn that, it's just
Hmm.
every time bringing it back to yourself, the love, the security, the foundation, and that it's not an external thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's such a powerful thing to learn in our lives, though. And it sets us free from a lot of unnecessary issues and stuff like that. But you're right. Like it is so important that we learn that taking radical responsibility for our lives and ourselves and knowing that that is where we get to source from. It's not about the external, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that creates that freedom to really leverage your life in a way that you feel it can be iconic, because that is the freedom that you shape, because you're not codependent to anything anymore. And you really have the freedom to say, fuck it, I'm going to Paris. Fuck it, I'm wearing these insane big earrings or whatever, like wearing your hula hoop or
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Selling
Get
dildos on
freedom.
the internet, why not, right?
Okay, so speaking of iconic lives, what does that look like for you in your everyday? Not just like the big things, right? Like the,
Yeah.
big trips or big launches or whatever, what have you.
Yeah,
But in
yeah.
your day to day, like what do you, maybe what are some things that you do on a day, like habits that you have or values that
Mm,
are non-negotiable for you or boundaries even that you've set in your life or choices that you make or any kind of practices or tools that you use on a daily basis to keep you like focused on the path that you've chosen, this leading and building this iconic life.
yeah, like the first thing is electricity. That's why I brought the dildos. I still do. No, seriously, but well, like seriously having a pleasure practice, I think that is something that keeps me really connected to my aliveness, my electricity, my electric body.
Hmm.
That automatically makes you feel alive.
Yeah.
And because you feel that the experience of life changes. Yeah, I really like I'm doing a love coach, love, sex, love, relationship coaching thing also at this moment. And it's just like pleasure, it starts like pleasure is where it starts, your iconic life. So of course, pleasure has to be the baseline of that iconic life then.
Yeah.
And what more is pleasure than self-pleasure? So really that and really taking and that the mistake that people make about self-pleasuring is that it's like all about sex. But I had wonderful experiences with self-pleasure where I just fell into unconditional love.
Hmm.
And I also had experiences where I was just, completely electrified through my body, but it's like deeper connecting to your divinity and to the pleasurable experience in all sorts of ways. Self-love, self-acceptance, crying, raging,
Hmm.
really being with yourself and allowing yourself to regulate and have epic experiences also.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So speaking of the things that you're creating and you mentioned like the coaching that you do and things like that, tell us a little bit about that. Like what are some of the ripples that you are most proud of creating, some of the projects that you're doing currently, or how do you see this calling, this work of yours evolving in this
Mm.
next season?
So such a cool question. Like the reason why I have created this company was really to create something that also
Mm.
was sustaining for the planet. And so there has been a season where I was just basically focusing on building my own company up till it was self-sustaining. And slowly but secure, like slowly it starts to become a different body of work where yes, we still focus on like focus maybe even more on pleasure and creating more capacity. But the biggest thing that I feel is, yeah, most alive within this season is that we also get to regenerate wealth and fuel other stuff than only ourselves. And that is really cool. Like, for example, this is, yeah, like foundations, but this is something that I have a heart for, and slowly it's developing. But for example, the sex, love, and relationship coaching, I did that to also in the long haul create a foundation for people who have been abused.
Hmm.
So, it starts to become bigger than me. I think that is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes, you come back completely to the foundations and you're back at square one, and then it's like, damn it. And then you're whoop, like thrown, like it's kind of like, where am I in this game? But
Hmm.
like I feel the potency of this moment where it's like I'm starting to do this, and I'm also starting to teach that to
Hmm.
really circulate wealth and yeah, be more than just provided for. Yeah,
Wow.
be
Yeah.
more than
To
just
create,
provided for.
yeah, to create impact in the world, right? Yeah, not
Fuck yeah.
just about our, yeah. No, I love that. I'm right there with you like that. Yes. And take care of myself, take care of my family, resourcing us. But I was like for freedom, fun, and impact. That's kind of my statement.
I love that.
Right? Because I do want to have fun with my family and be resourced and all those fun, amazing, iconic things we get to do. I do want freedom, freedom of time, freedom of space, freedom of resources, right? To not have to worry about how I'm gonna pay X, Y, and Z like that. I want to remove that burden. But also I'm here for impact, right? It's not just about me. It's not just about my immediate family. It is about impact in a greater scale. So I love this. Like you said, it's not just about me. It's bigger than me. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and especially as female entrepreneurs, and sometimes I feel like we can be a little bit more deliberate with it, and also a little bit more generous with, or generous, thankful, or like uh, with the fact that we have a profession that has so much freedom, and also taking the responsibility of that. Like, okay, what are you doing with all that freedom? Like, what are you doing with all this free creativity, free
Mm,
expression? You can do whatever the fuck you want. But seriously, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And then sometimes I feel like, okay, well, let's go then, right? Let's go. Let's build out fucking epic stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Epic stuff. That's right.
Yeah.
I love that. And we are in such a unique time in world life history, whatever, that we have the ability to do these things on a really exponentially dramatic scale compared to what was available in past generations, right? I think of like my
Fuck yeah.
lineage, the women in my lineage, my mother, my grandmother, like they were such powerful women in their own right, but they didn't have the opportunity that we have, right? With the
Yes.
interwebs, right? Like we have the ability to touch people across the globe from here in my, like you and I are continents apart right now, right? Like, and yet we're having this beautiful conversation
This.
because of this tool. It is a very unique time in history, and I think, but we are here for that. We are here to create impact, and let's utilize these tools that we have to do that, right?
Absolutely. And like, I'm right, like I'm right with you, sister, about all of that, because when you think about it, it's insane. Like 100 years from before, like 100 years back, I think
Hmm.
people couldn't even, like women couldn't even vote. Maybe it's around that time that it started to develop. Couldn't have our own bank accounts.
Bank accounts, right?
We couldn't have our own house. I think
Right.
maybe that's why I really deeply want that, my own house. All these stuff that people couldn't do. Write a book, probably. Well, maybe on a pseudonym,
Right, exactly. Not even
but
their
it
own
needed to be,
identity.
no,
Yeah.
it needed to be a male name, like stuff like
Mm.
that. Like, holy shit. And now, like, I'm starting to write a book, and I know plenty of people that are doing that. It's like, wow, like even in my younger years, that was not really normal that people just start
Yeah,
writing books,
I
like,
agree. Yeah.
wow, we can do podcasts. We can,
Yes.
I can, make my own clothes if I want to. And like I get
Yeah.
so excited because I'm like, oh, I can be a photographer, I can be a fashion designer, like all
Yeah.
the things. Like, what do you
All the
choose?
opportunities. That's right.
Nothing. I will do it all.
And I think there's, even a bit of a responsibility that comes with this great opportunity, right? Like, what are, for those of us who are called, like, we're called, like, we cannot just ignore this, right? We have been given this
Hmm.
opportunity. And I think there is
Yeah.
I want to say an obligation, and that word has a little bit of a heavy meaning sometimes, but like, we are to live out our calling. We all get the choice if we want to or not, right?
Yeah.
But like I know for myself and I know for you and so many people that I get the pleasure of interviewing on this podcast, like we are
Yeah.
answering that call and stepping into it. Not perfectly, not knowing all the answers, but we're doing it, right? Because like why would we squander this opportunity that we have to create impact? Hmm. It's
And a life worth living, because that is also the freedom that we have been
yes.
given in this
Yes.
timing, like the freedom to really, oh wow, like have iconic experiences.
Hmm.
Like everything is, I don't know how you feel, but I was just creating a podcast also, like I don't know, yeah, this just comes up, so I'll just share it. Like when we are, we as entrepreneurs, like society is created on, I would say, having a normal 9 to 5 job, and everything in that kind of bandwidth is normal.
Hmm.
And then we start to create more wealth, create more, financial liberty also. Not even only that, but we sometimes, that is something that I'm pondering over lately. Like, oh wow, we're so, in a way, hooked into and conditioned to live in a certain bandwidth. Like,
Hmm.
nobody of my family has scaled in a way that I am scaling now,
Yeah.
right? And so it comes with this adventure and opportunity. Like I don't even know what is out there. Like like what is even, you know, in that uh, awareness, in that consciousness of having a more like liberated life financially mostly, but like what
Yeah.
happens when you cross the 5K months, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like we start to experience, at least that was my like adventure exploration last year when I started to create 6 figures in sales in my company. I was like, oh well, like what's out there? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I
It begins
can.
to open up like new
Yes.
viewpoints and new doors and things. You're like, oh, wait, what is possible? Right. I
What's
know
possible?
it's an exciting thing, isn't it?
And if you open the doorway to another, like for example, becoming a fashion designer, or like there are so many worlds out there you don't
Yeah.
know anything about, and that is like the luscious thing about having all these experiences and knowing
Yeah.
that you have the freedom to just go for that venture and
Yeah.
make the most out of it and come into all these different worlds that you maybe not even knew they were existing.
Right.
Wow, how cool is that?
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, it is such an exciting experience. And like you said, like it opens up whole new vistas, like whole new worlds, right? When you like you just mentioned, like even going into fashion, you're like all the things I didn't even know existed in this avenue and would have never known or experienced if you had not opened a door and done it something different, right? And it applies to so many different areas of life and things, but I'm also experiencing that. It's so cool to be like, this is the life that I get to have. Like that's why I said in my intro, I said like creating a life that I'm wildly in love with, right? Like it
Hmm.
excites me every day, like to be able to live this life and to create this life. Like what an honor. And I'm so grateful that I get this opportunity and,
Yes,
and don't want to waste it. Yeah. Oh,
exactly what you said. Like you don't want to waste it. And it's like I've recently also started to see my own, I would say, not fully taking responsibility of the opportunity, right? Being being sort of lazy with creating your life, your personal life, right?
Hmm.
Again, there are so many opportunities. What do I do? Watching Netflix or whatever, like you have this, sometimes you have these wake up calls in your life where you're like, no, I think we need to kind of take ownership.
Yeah. Yeah. Or as I say, like radical responsibility, but it's the same thing as taking ownership, right? Like it's
Yeah.
taking responsibility for it. Yeah. 100%. Right there with you. Okay. So for someone who's listening today, who is hearing us chat, hearing your story, and maybe it's sparking something inside of them. They're feeling that like tug, but because they haven't yet stepped into creating their iconic life, but they're hearing it and they're feeling that tug. What is a truth that you would want them to hold on to, or a small, brave step that you would challenge them to do today on this journey?
So there are like there's one thing that came up, and that is saying yes to life.
Hmm.
You can have this challenge in multiple ways, but this is how I am doing that myself right now. So I know that there's, I think, like this is kind of a well-known thing that you can do. I heard many people do that before, but it's okay. Like there's a person that did that on YouTube, I think. Okay, my brain is going and wanting to.
It's all good.
Um, I think he was like, you know what? I am going to say yes to life and say yes to every invite that is coming my way.
Yeah.
And now, what does it do? Or you can do like one unexpected thing, like Shoshana, for example, my mentor, your mentor, says like, do one unexpected thing every day. Like, like you will be surprised how much conditioning is on your nervous system, where you're like, oh no, not that, because I don't really like, for example, horror movies, or
Mm.
no, that's not really my thing, or no. But if you're if you're kind of forced to say yes and stay open to every opportunity that is coming your way, unless it's like really life threatening, or like really going over all of your boundaries. Okay, then maybe not. But I mean,
Yeah.
if it's coming to you, in a way you're attracting it, right? So it's kind of fun that people think about you, and it opens up new doorways. So for example, I was asked to join a weaving workshop. I'm like, weaving, okay, whatever. Or all these weird things that you're like normally like, nah.
Right.
Or like a tantra workshop, a tantra festival in Mallorca, or like, yeah, okay, we'll stay open. Let's see. It's so cool. And in that way you get to already experience completely different things.
Mm.
And you know, coming into circles you would normally never go into,
Hmm. Hmm.
connecting with people, having experience, having possibilities you would never had before. And that sparks something. It opens up new doorways and it opens up new possibilities, your creativity. And that is where the wonder is also,
Yeah.
the wonder of, wow, life is fucking cool. Yeah, so
Um,
unexpected.
so saying yes. I love that.
Yes.
That's a good challenge. And yeah, actually I like that. Okay. So as we're winding down here, this has been a fun conversation. Um, well, first of all, where can people find you online?
Tantric Business Academy on Instagram.
Instagram. Okay.
Think it's also on Facebook, like all the
All the
places
places that
you'll find me. Tantric
and
Business
we'll make
Academy.
sure to put this on the show notes as well so people can also find you that way.
Yeah, and
Um,
the for the vintage shop, had a vintage shop, and with the pleasure tools and such, it's a Nia Vintage Boutique.
okay, all right, beautiful. All right, yeah,
So
we'll
that's
definitely
the
put those in
different
as
one.
well.
Thank you.
So I have a couple just fun closing questions I like to ask everybody, all my guests.
Whee!
What is a favorite drink or food that you enjoy?
I am actually quite a food lover. Like, give me food and I'm super happy. I can have
Yeah.
food orgasms and everything. But one thing I recently made myself, it's open burrata lasagna. So you have like, oh man, I would put the recipe here somewhere. Like, you will have be. It looks like it's from a restaurant, but it's quite simple, and it
Okay.
has saute buttered sage in it, and it
Ooh, yum.
sounds weird, but like a
Oh, that sounds yummy.
crickling sage.
Uh,
Ah,
yeah. Oh, that actually sounds really
yeah,
yummy.
it is super yummy.
And then open burrata. So okay, I'm gonna have to
Uh,
look this
yeah,
up.
burrata. I will
Okay.
send it to you. I will send it to
Okay,
you.
yay, because I'm a
Mm.
complete foodie and I love to cook and bake. I like both. But yeah, I'm all about like good food.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Like we'll have a match, man, because I'm looking always on Instagram for my favorite
Yeah,
stuff and
me too.
making it. Okay, I know who to send my stuff to
Yeah,
then.
send them
Like,
over
look at
here.
this.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And then what is a dream vacation spot that you maybe have on your bucket list or maybe you're even planning to go on to? Where are you loving to go?
Mm, the bucket list. Like travel is one of my uh, ultimate highs, I would
Yeah.
say. I would love to go to Japan,
Mm-hmm.
to Tokyo, or like basically everywhere in Japan. That is really on my bucket list. I think the culture is so different than ours and
Mm.
so maybe also connected to nature in a way, maybe not in Tokyo anymore, but
But in the
I
other
am
outlying areas, yeah.
fascinated. Yeah, fascinated with their culture. Just fascinated.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
And their
really.
foods, by the way.
Oh yeah, yummy food. Yeah. Again, food.
Ah, food.
We are foodies here. Okay, and then in closing, what is one book that you are currently reading, or maybe just recently finished that you've loved, that you would recommend?
Hmm. Yeah, like it's not super sexy or anything, but I read The New Earth of Eckhart Tolle.
Hmm, hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
just in a way really fun because it is about becoming more aware of where you're in constantly in your ego, in your thinking mind.
Hmm.
And it's so funny because you read it and like, oh yeah, I'm doing that. Oh yeah, I'm doing that too. Oh yeah, 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 this is what I'm doing. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it's kind of like funny he writes it really funny, I think. It's like,
That's super.
yes, egos are trying to pick the weak spots of the other ego, so they are getting triggered and it's like, oh yeah,
Mm,
yeah, that's what's happening. Fucking epic. Yeah, so that is what I would recommend.
beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful conversation today. It was fun. I loved it. So thank you for that.
Yes, you're
And
welcome.
then for everyone, thank you guys for joining us today on during our conversation inside the Iconic Life podcast. Remember, you guys, every choice you make leaves a mark. So make them wisely. Your most iconic life is not waiting out there in the somewhere someday. It's the one you choose and create right now, every day. So keep choosing with intention, keep choosing truth, keep choosing joy. And you guys, if today's conversation stirred something inside of you, please share this episode, leave us a review, and connect with us online. Like, I love to hear feedback from you guys. I love to hear your breakthroughs. I love to hear your aha moments or things that you picked up from little nuggets you picked up from our conversations. But this helps us to spread this movement of men and women who are living, leading, and loving iconically. So we will see you back here next time.